Well, since I'm driving anyway, might as well make a video since it's not going to take any extra time out of my day on wasting it on YouTube. So here it goes. We're talking about Ukraine. Well, before in my last video, I thought, oh, well, Russia isn't playing on an even playing field. If NATO is allowed to strike deep inside of Russia, but Russia can't strike deep inside of all the suppliers of Ukraine's weapons, you know, coming out of Poland and Germany and France. But you know what? When you think about it, these long-range missiles can't do anything. They get jammed by their electronic warfare, and the only time they do hit their targets, it's usually some territory that's unguarded, not on the front, not a high priority target. For example, the Kursk incursion was easy for them to make advances there because they were getting their asses kicked on the actual front. There was nothing there but a few border guards and a whole lot of forest. So now they're out there camping underneath Iskanders, dying badly. Idiots. But anyway, it was a good PR stunt. Okay, so another unguarded target is deep inside Russia with that munitions facility. That's somewhere up northeast of Belarus. And there was another air base that they tried to attack, but that was defended and the drones got shot down in the Arctic frickin' Circle. So Mark Sloboda is on par with me. He says, yeah, these aren't coming out of Ukraine. They're too far north. They're too far away. You serious? They're coming out of Finland most likely. I said Latvia or Estonia, but maybe. But anyway, let's just go with Finland. So the Russians aren't saying who did it. They know who did it, and they're probably thinking, do we want to go to war with NATO? And they're probably thinking, their long-range missiles can't do much because we can, as long as we've got our electronic warfare there, they can't hit anything. The only thing they can hit is some, you know, like a train. I think a train was hit. Why? Because there's no air defences for a train. They can only engage in terrorism. That's all the NATO can do against Russia. They can't confront their actual air defences, so they attack soft targets like a train. So yeah, ATACMS can hit soft targets, but is it going to change the war? Is it going to hit those air bases where Su-34s are taking off with Fab 3000s, which the Ukraine can't touch because they're launched from beyond what do they call it? Bear with me. That's it. Standoff. I don't know why that word slipped my mind. Standoff range, and the Ukrainians can't hit it. And then these Fab 3000s, 1500s, and 500s. They just glide in there, and kaboom! The Ukraine front is being decimated. And what have the Americans got, or the NATO? They got the JDAMs, but they can't launch them because the F-16s are hiding in hangars. And what little MiG-29s or Su-35s, or no, they don't have Su-27s or whatever they have left over from the Soviets, are pretty much gone. So they can't fly anywhere near the front to release their JDAMs because they'll get shot down, particularly by the hypersonic R-37 air-to-air missile, which has an enormous range. So they can't do it. Russia can. They can't. So it's like Russia, how is long-range missiles going to affect us? Not really. They can only engage in terrorist attacks because Russia has an enormous landmass. So they can't defend everything. So NATO will just bomb a train, bomb a low-priority target, and Russia should not amass weapons in one stockpile like they did up there northeast of Belarus. It got blown up. That is a high-value target. But if you have dispersed or distributed munitions bunkers, then it's going to cost NATO more in drones and missiles to blow that up than it is what they blew up. So Russia has to pull the finger out there. Apart from that, these long-range missiles can't do much. So I'm sure that Russia knows that NATO struck from Finland, and they're not saying anything about it. They just came up with some lame excuse, which was a pretty bad excuse. It's almost as bad as Ukraine's lying about that they sent 100 drones from Ukraine up to fucking Arctic Circle. Anyway, if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you in Crimea, and so let's face it, Russia's just saying, well, they can't do much against us, let's not escalate. So even though they're fighting with one arm tied behind their back, NATO is only fighting with one arm anyway. So it's easy to land punch after punch after punch. Nonetheless, so that's the situation. So they just need to cruise like they're always doing. Russia just needs to do what they're doing, and even if Trump gets in, he might offer them a peace agreement which is real that they'll have to take. Otherwise, they'll be the bad guys for not taking it. But you know what? I don't really think Russia gives a shit. I do. I give a shit about the West if Kamala gets in, because we were talking about wokeism, talking about fascism, locking down free speech. We're talking, and that has its flow-on effect in Australia. Terrible thing, terrible consequences, economic consequences, and so on and so forth. Mandated vaccines. I didn't get them. No, I didn't. No, and I'm not gonna. But ever. Now, okay, here I've got to get off. So, all right, fuck off. Come on, hurry up. Pass me. I'm doing 40 kilometres an hour. Move. All right, Jesus. Okay. You got to start changing lanes 1 kilometre, because you know we're living in a environment where they charge you a lot of money to use a tollway, and over 30 years I think it was, and they clean up as about 30 times more money than it cost them to build it, because that's how the West is operating at the moment. So I've got to get off this fucking freeway before I hit the tollway. So that sort of crap. If Kamala wins, but for Russia, they want Kamala to win. Why? Because they want the war to go on. They don't want any peace agreements, because they've got to complete their objective. They can't leave Nazis out there in Lviv, in Western Ukraine, in a little pocket of a landlocked country, let's say, out there after this war's finished, because they'll just put NATO missile bases there. So they need to finish the job. They can't have that. It'll just go on and on and go on forever. And even if Trump does win 4 years later, he's out of office and the whole shit starts again. So, you know, Russia said tongue-in-cheek as a joke he's supporting Kamala, but you know what, he really is. Because Trump would offer them an actual peace agreement that they have to take, because it will be legitimate, not some nonsense from Zelensky and Boris Johnson, delusional. Oh, give us Crimea back and we'll stop the war. What a bunch of fuckwits. They're losing. It's like that guy out of Monty Python's Holy Grail. He's got his arms and legs chopped off, saying, come back, you wimps. Fight. That's the situation they're in, and they're calling the shots like they're the ones that have the right to call the shots. Oh, jeez. Anyway, complete insanity. And Trump will come along and go, oh yeah, big country, Russia's winning. Yeah, okay. You can have this the Donbass and the Crimea, and we'll put a border somewhere along here, down the guts, blah, blah, blah. And there'll be no more aggression, no more NATO, no more military bases for, 4 years? And Putin will have to take that because it's legit. Otherwise, he'll be actually looking like the bad guy. So that's the situation there. So I've been rambling. What else have we got? Oh yeah, that's it. A little pop-up window in the back of my head saying the retaliation for these NATO strikes deep inside Russia can be offset by simply giving hypersonics to Houties in Yemen. Russian-speaking Houtis operating hypersonic missiles with targets designated by Yemen. The Houtis. Where do you want this missile to go? And that's exactly what NATO's doing in Ukraine, and they can't. Russia will just sarcastically parody them with their own bullshit. So, oh, these were Yemeni made hypersonic missiles, just to rub the sarcasm in their faces, and that's how they will respond. We've already seen one Houthi hypersonic missile. Don't know how they got their hands on that. Hit Tel Aviv, and you know what? If you want to end all wars, give Houthis hypersonic missiles, point them at Israel and say we need to end all wars, and all wars will end, because we know where the root of the cause is coming from. The cause of the root, whatever. You know what I'm saying. So, anyway, that's it. Okay, I've got to do 40, I've got to watch the speed limits here now, because it goes from 60 down to 40, and this is a revenue strip where the government is collecting revenue by having exactly the same road conditions and changing the speed limit so you don't notice, and then you get a fine because they're just scabs. This is why I'm on Russia's side. This is shit. This is shit. Look at me. Look at this high vis. Look at the shit on that. I want to buy a new one. Ah, fuck that. See you later.